Now, next topic is development of resources. So, you know that resources are vital for human survival as well as for maintaining the quality of life. Okay, but overutilization of resources has led to many problems. So, which are the negative impact of indiscriminate overutilization of resources? Like resource depletion for satisfying the greed of few individuals, unequal resource distribution which created accumulation of resources in few hands, due to which society is divided into rich and poor. The next was global ecological crisis like global warming, ozone layer depletion, environmental pollution, land degradation because of indiscriminate use of resources. Now, what is sustainable development? Sustainable development means development should take place without damaging the environment, and development in the present should not compromise with the needs of the future generation. Resource planning therefore is essential for sustainable existence of all life forms. Sustainable existence is a component of sustainable development. Okay. So, in Rio de Janeiro, in Brazil, the first Earth Summit International was held in 1992 between 3rd of June to 14th of June 1992. Rio de Janeiro, the place. Okay. And to formulate an agenda to promote sustainable development, more than 100 heads of states participated, okay, in this summit. The summit was done for addressing urgent problems of environmental protection and socio-economic development at the global level. Agenda 21, okay, was the outcome of this Rio de Janeiro Earth Summit. Alright, and once again let me tell you the full form of UNCED, United Nations Conference on Environment and Development. Okay, so it was the first United Nations Conference on Environment and Development was held in Rio de Janeiro, UNCED. There were few aims of Agenda 21 like achieving global sustainable development, combat environmental damage, poverty and diseases, and it can be achieved through global cooperation on common interest, mutual need and shared responsibility. Okay. Now next is the importance of resource planning in India. Resource planning involves identification and quantification of the available resources and planning of resource development that would be consistent with overall national development plans. In a country like India, which has enormous diversity and availability of resources, there are some regions which are considered self-sufficient in terms of resources. There are others which have acute shortage of some vital resources, like states like Jharkhand, Chhattisgarh, Madhya Pradesh are rich in coal and minerals but lack technological and institutional support. Arunachal Pradesh, abundance water resources available there, but that state lacks in infrastructure development. Rajasthan is well developed, well endowed with water and solar energy but lacks water resources. Okay, the cold desert of Ladakh lacks natural resources although it has a rich cultural heritage. So the various limitations and differences in resource distribution demands balanced resource planning from national to local level for ensuring equitable and healthy development. Now, resource planning is not a simple process in India, it is a complex process. How this complex process is done in India? One, identification, inventory of resources across the regions of the country. This involves surveying, mapping, qualitative and quantitative estimation and measurement of the resources. Second, planning for resource development using appropriate skill, technology and institutional setup. And third, matching the resource development plans with overall national development plan. So India followed the policy of resource planning from the very first 5-year plan rightly after the independence. Resources and colonization. Now, rich natural resources of colonies were the main attractions for foreign invaders. Technological development of the colonizing countries helped them to exploit resources of the colonized regions. India has learned from her past experience that development in general and resource development in particular does not only involve the availability of resources, but also it depends upon the technology, quality of human resource and historical experience of the people too. So therefore resources are vital and they need to be conserved. Irrational consumption, overutilization of resources may lead to socio-economic and environmental problems. Resource conservation at various levels is important to overcome these problems. Okay, now Gandhiji's view on resource conservation. So Gandhiji voiced his concern about resource conservation, and what he said about resource conservation: there is enough for everybody's need and not for anybody's greed. Okay, this was said by Mahatma Gandhiji. He blamed greedy and selfish individuals and the exploitative nature of modern technology as the root cause of resource depletion at the global level. And next he said he was against mass production and wanted to replace it with production by the masses. Now the initiatives at international level which was taken for the conservation of resources. So for the first time, the Club of Rome in April 1968, okay, a group of academicians, civil society, industrialists advocated for resource conservation in a more systematic way. 1968. Okay, then next was Gandhian philosophy advocated for sustainable use of resources. It was expressively presented by Schumacher. He wrote a book called Small is Beautiful. A book is written by Schumacher, Small is Beautiful. And then in 1987, Brundtland Commission report extensively mentioned the necessity of resource conservation and advocated the concept sustainable development for this purpose, which was later published in a book entitled Our Common Future. And then comes the first Earth Summit International in Rio de Janeiro, 1992. Okay. Now, land resources refers to the shape, form, and nature of land surface. Very important natural resource as it supports natural vegetation, wildlife, human life, various economic activities, transport, and communication systems too. Okay. Now, in India, the plain percentage is 43, the plateaus percentage is 27. And the mountains in India, the percentage is 30%. Okay, for plain land area for agriculture industry, they support agriculture industrial activity. The plateaus, which is source of minerals, fossil fuels in India and forest also, and mountains ensures perennial flow of some rivers and provides sites for tourism and ecological aspects. Land utilization. Now in India, land resources are used for the following purposes, like a forest. Okay. Then second is land not available for cultivation, barren and wasteland, and land put to non-agricultural uses like buildings, roads and factories. Third was other uncultivated land, excluding fallow land. It includes permanent pasture and grazing land, land under miscellaneous tree crops and groves, not included in next zone area. And next is cultivable wasteland. What is cultivable wasteland? Which is left uncultivated for more than 5 agricultural years. Okay. Then current fallow. A current fallow left without cultivation for 1 or less than 1 agricultural year, they are called current fallow. Left for 1 or less than 1. Other than current fallow, left uncultivated for past 1 to 5 agricultural years. Okay. Then net sown area. Net sown area is the area sown more than once in an agricultural year. Okay. So net sown area is area sown with crops, but it is counted only once, whereas gross cropped area is the total area sown once as well as more than once in a particular year, that is gross cropped area. Okay. Now land use pattern. Land use pattern reflects the uses of land in India for different purposes such as forest and others for cultivation. Now the pattern, land use pattern is mainly affected by 2 factors, physical factors It includes topography, climate, soil, okay, and human factors. It includes population density, technology, culture and tradition. Alright. Now the total geographical area of India is 3.28 million square kilometer. 3.28 million square kilometer, but only the land use data is only available for 93% of the total geographical area, because the land use reporting for most of the northeast states except Assam has not been done fully, and some areas of Jammu and Kashmir occupied by Pakistan, China have also not been surveyed. Now between 1960 and 61 and 2014 and 15, major changes took place in land use pattern in India. Area under forest is far less than 33%. Okay, the land under permanent pasture is very low and is still decreasing. We will not be able to properly feed our huge cattle population in the future due to this problem. Alright, and the net sown area varies in our country in different states. Like it is over 80% in Punjab and Haryana, net sown area over 80% due to intensive agricultural facilities, but it is less than 10% in Arunachal Pradesh, Manipur, Mizoram, Andaman, Nicobar Islands. Continuous use of land without appropriate conservation measures had created the problem of land degradation. As I told you, area under forest is very less than 33%, which is necessary for maintenance of ecological balance as per the National Forest Policy 1952. Okay, a country should have 33% forest area, which is very less. Most of the other than current fallows are of poor quality, or cost of such cultivation is very high. Okay, these lands are cultivated once or twice in about 2 to 3 years, and if these lands are included in net sown area, then the net sown area will become 54%, but they are cultivated once or twice in about 2 to 3 years. So that's all for today. Okay, students, do the revision properly. It will be a multiple choice questions informed earlier already. You have to choose one correct answer. Okay, so each and every line in your book is important, and the video lesson is also important to you. Okay, so we'll continue this topic, revision class in the next video as well. Thank you.